All right, YouTubers, welcome back. My name's Dave. You found. Do it yourself. Do it right. This video is going to be a little different. A little bit of a warning. If you're not into vintage bikes or older cars, this video is going to be about how to go about getting a title for a vehicle that you may have purchased or you might be thinking about purchasing. There's a lot of ins and outs. There's a lot of loopholes involved. It scares some people. Some people don't want to buy a bike or a car without a title, and I'm one of those people, to be honest with you. I've only bought a couple of bikes without titles, but I knew who was selling me the bike. So yeah, in this video, if you don't really worry about titles and bikes and old cars and old bikes, and if that's not your thing, I got my Common Motors hat on, got my my Coastal Empire moto shirt on, and the reason why I have this shirt on is because I traded for a bike that didn't have a title, and this is give me an opportunity to try to give this process a try. And let me just say right off the bat is I'm not a lawyer. I have no legal background. All I know is that I've seen the videos about this Vermont title loophole process, and they say it works. So I'm basically at the finish line with the process, and I wanted to make this video, get it out to you guys that might buy an old bike or car without a title. So there's there's gonna be a lot of information. I'm gonna be sitting here talking to you, so if this isn't your kind of thing, I don't blame you. Stop the video, go check somebody else out. Maybe Wood Jr. He gave me a heads up and shout out, I should say. Go check out Wood Jr.'s his Facebook. Good Lord, I can't even think this morning. Go check out his YouTube page. He's a cool dude. He does a lot of riding stuff. A lot of videos. He rode all the way to Sturgis on his bike with his wife there. That's amazing, in my opinion. I'd never do that. But anyways, I'm gonna get in it. I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna do it right now. All right, guys, I'm gonna try not to bore you to death with details and this and that. I will say, and I'm gonna say this first and foremost, if you plan on trying to do this, you need to check out your own state's rules, regulations, laws, requirements, whatever and whatnot. I'm gonna quickly go over what I do. I'm in Georgia currently, and what I do when I'm dealing with a bike. Now, I am going to make a whole video about what do I look for in a vintage bike, or when I go to purchase one. That's gonna be a whole different video. But what I'm gonna go through right now is the very first thing that I do is I ask if there's a title. I ask if there's a title because my plan is usually to buy and then resell, and it makes reselling a bike with a title so much easier, and it gives it a little bit of value. So that's my very number one question. Now, like I said, I have bought 2 bikes without titles, but I've known the owners, and I know that they're not stolen. So the chance you take when you buy a bike that doesn't have a title is that it could possibly be stolen. And the way you get around that, and the very first form I'm gonna show you, well, at least the way you get around it in Georgia. I'm gonna keep saying in Georgia, okay? So if you guys are in a different state, you gotta look up your own state regulations. So in Georgia, when you go to look at a bike without a VIN, first of all, I would have tried to get the VIN from the seller, and if the seller won't give you the VIN, well then I won't go look at the bike, because I want to verify that the bike is not stolen. And the way you do that is you run the VIN number with the police department. So before you can actually register it, so say you bought the bike and then you're gonna go register it. Here in Georgia, you have to fill out this form here. This is a Georgia Department of Revenue motorcycle or motor vehicle. This goes for motorcycles or cars. Certification of inspection of a duly constituted Georgia law enforcement, blah, blah, blah. Right, so basically what this form is it's a form. Here it is. And what you do is you fill out all the vehicle's information, you put the VIN number, you put all the required information, owner information, the VIN number, blah, blah, blah. Now I do all of this before I call the law enforcement agent out to my house, and I do that just to speed their process along. So basically what you do is you call the non-emergency phone number, you say, hey, I need a law enforcement officer to come out and run a VIN number. They'll show up, they'll be happy to do it because, you know, they're not pulling people over and, you know, chasing down bad guys and getting in shootouts or whatever. Anyways, so I fill it all out, even though it says really not to. The law enforcement officer is supposed to do it, but I, you know, just to be nice. It makes their life easier. Why not make their life easier? They got a shitty job anyways. So they come in, they look at the bike, they look at the VIN number, they run it, they go back to their little police cruiser, they run the VIN number, and then if it's good, they'll sign it, date it, do their thing, put their badge number, yada, yada, yada. Then you take this form to the DMV. And that's for Georgia. Now, if you buy a bike and it doesn't have the title in Georgia, you also need a bill of sale. Now, this is another form you can just print off the internet. This is just a Georgia, this is their form, and here it is. It's pretty basic, just a Georgia bill of sale, you know, same information. There's a lot of court numbers and tax IDs and blah, blah, blah. That's for dealerships and whatnot. In the blocks that don't pertain, I just put NA, pretty simple. Now in Georgia, it doesn't matter what you put down for the purchase price. They're gonna look up the value of the vehicle or the motorcycle, and they're gonna charge you tax accordingly. So you can put that you only paid $100 and you really paid $1,000. It doesn't really matter. They're gonna look up the value. They're gonna bounce it off what's in the system, and they're gonna charge you tax accordingly. So that's you know, this is the Georgia stuff. Like, I'm gonna keep saying this is what I have to do when I'm buying a vintage bike for Georgia. Now, every state is different. Now, I will say that I know South Carolina's rules, I know Florida's rules. South Carolina is when you go to buy a bike, all you need is a purchase, a bill of sale. It doesn't even have to be a Georgia, it just could be a handwritten bill of sale. You need a bill of sale, and I believe also when you go to register it, they're gonna also do a VIN number check. Now, Florida is a little bit different. You can buy a bike, and the age range for this, I should say, is like 1987 or something like that and below. Like I said, look it up for your state to buy vehicles without titles and be able to register them and whatnot. So definitely, like I said, I'm gonna keep saying it. Make sure you look up your state's requirements. I just recently had to look up Florida's. That's the only reason why I know Florida's. So if somebody in Florida wants to buy a bike without a title, they have to have a bill of sale, and then they have to have the previous owner's registration from whichever state they bought it from. So say they bought it from Florida, they got to have the previous owner's registration with them. And the reason why I know all this is because I went about trying to sell my little Yamaha RD350. And if you guys know anything about trying to sell a bike without a title, and you put it on, say, a Facebook group, the trolls come out. Let me just say, the trolls come out in force, and next thing you know, oh my God, your bike is stolen. Why are you trying to sell stolen stuff on Facebook? Why are you trying to sell stolen stuff? Why are you trying to, you know, it's just a bunch of hassle. So what I figured I'd do is I do this Vermont registration process, and let me go ahead and get you ready for that. It's not difficult. It's just, you know, some more paperwork, and I'll go ahead and explain it a little bit better. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this Vermont loophole registration thing. Now, I heard about this from a couple of guys at a club that I'm in. All right, I'm not gonna say which club because I don't want to give them a bad name if, you know, people don't like this loophole. But anyways, a few gentlemen that have this same problem with you know, vintage bikes and trying to get titles and whatnot. So I subsequently went on YouTube, and man, there are a bunch of videos about this. So if my video is not the greatest and you need a little bit more clarification, you can definitely go on YouTube and you can definitely find videos. Now, I found one video that was basically a step-by-step. The guy did a great job. He's able to do the whole screen manipulations, you know, videotape his screen, yada yada yada, and put everything out there and whatever. I'm not that technical, you know, I'm not gonna lie. I have the forms in front of me and I have it up on my computer I'm gonna show you. But as far as, you know, going through and this and that, no, that's not gonna be me. Plus I wanna try to keep this fairly short and try not to make you guys fall asleep. So, so that's how I learned about the whole Vermont loophole thing. The guy that I watch on you know, YouTube, Vice Grip Garage, he did it for his Independence Chevelle, so it works. You just, you know, you just got to do the process, and I'm gonna get into that process right now. So if you have a vehicle it's got to meet all their qualifications. Now, I'm not going to go through all their qualifications. I'd be here reading to you for the next 40 minutes, and then you definitely, you know, skip over my video and, you know, go through it, whatever. So go to the Vermont website page, and that's dmv-vermont-gov, and just, you know, search out registration requirements for a vehicle without a title. It's pretty simple, and it'll give you a whole bunch of requirements. It'll say that, you know, it's got to be a certain size motorcycle. Now I'm gonna switch to just a motorcycle. Now cars, you know, it's the same thing. It's got to be a certain age or below. It's got to be a certain size engine. You know, there's a bunch of qualifications. So if your vehicle fits into the qualifications, then you need to fill out this form, this Vermont form. And this Vermont form is VD-119. That's basically it. And this is the form. Now, I've crossed out my information, just, you know, so you guys don't have my address and all that crazy stuff. This is basically the form. Pretty simple. You know, again, it's name, phone number, license number. Now, I will say that if you are not a Vermont resident, which I'm not a Vermont resident, and you don't have to be one either. You can register. I know it's weird. You can register your vehicle in Vermont. They will give you a tag and they will give you a registration, even though you do not live there, just as long as you follow the requirements. They'll send it to you in the mail. And basically, this is just an overview. Basically, they'll send it to you in your mail, and then you take, if you're trying to get a title, then you take that registration, you take it to your state, you give them all this paperwork that you've already filled out, and they turn all the Vermont paperwork into a title for you in your state. So basically, you have to fill out all this information. Now, one of the things that isn't super clear is where to go. Vermont license number. So in this block here, the license number block, if you're not a Vermont resident, you put your state's license number in there and then follow it up by, you know, the abbreviation for your state. My state is Georgia, so I put GA. That is really the only tricky part of this whole sheet of paper. Now, you will need a bill of sale for the vehicle from the previous owner, or you can write up your own bill of sale if you say, you know, the car's been sitting out in the tree row for years and now you want to try to get a title for it. You can write up your own bill of sale. Like I said, I am not a lawyer. None of this is legal advice. This is just what I did to try and obtain a title. I'm going to keep saying that. I don't want anybody to come back and say, oh, well, the guy on Do It Yourself, Do It Right said I could do it this way. This is just this is just what I did. This is just what I've been following, and you know, it's working. So here's you know, all my paperwork, name, address, blah blah blah. Oh, that's all the same. And then, you know, this is like the previous owner's information, yada yada yada, purchase date. And then in these blocks down here in the 4, you have to put new registration. You have to check that block right there. See, I did this online, so it's a little, you know, a little small. So it's going to be a new registration. All that is, you know, you just leave the rest of all that. Plate number, you don't need any of that. And then you check motorcycle, obviously, if it's a motorcycle, truck, car, trailer, whatever you're trying to get a title for. And then make, model, year. For body type for a motorcycle, you just put standard. Obviously, you put the color, the mileage, make sure it's in miles or km. I don't know. Maybe you're Canadian. I don't know. Maybe your stuff reads km. I don't know. Maybe you imported it from overseas, across the pond. You know, whatever. Make sure you check that. And then the rest of this, you know, this is for trucks, obviously. I didn't have to fill any of that out for the truck because it's not a truck, it's a motorcycle. And then in here is where you put your purchase price. Now, obviously, I didn't pay $300 for it, but I had to put something in there. And then what you have to do is you have to try and figure out the taxes that you're going to have to pay to Vermont to get this whole thing registered. Now, you can go on NADA like I did and find the value. I know I watched a couple other videos. Some guys just put some numbers in there and they got away with it. Some people put numbers in there and they didn't get away with it. So I went and I did the right thing. I did the NADA value, which is $2,000, which is, you know, low because I said that it was, you know, not in very good condition. So anyways, and then what you have to do is you have to figure out how much money you're going to send Vermont. Now, to register a motorcycle, to get a title, the flat fee is $48. So you have to put that in the registration block right here. That is their flat fee, $48 to start the process. And then tax, which is, you know, for me, it was $120. And then total, obviously, is $168. So I wrote a check to Vermont for $168. And what you have to do is you have to send them this, and there's 2 of them. So when you print this off, it'll print off 2 of these. You have to fill both of them out. One is for them to keep, and then the other one is they're going to send it back to you if the process goes through. Now, I will say, and this is where I messed up the first time I sent it in, you have to be aware of this signature block down here. Now, I did this whole thing. I filled it all out. You know, you got to send them your bill of sale. I sent them a copy. They say it's fine to send a copy. I sent a copy of the bill of sale. I sent them everything that they needed to include the NADA. I printed off a thing for the NADA just to, you know, help the process out a little bit. So they didn't have to, you know, guess where I got $2,000 from. I printed off the value. I printed off, obviously I made a copy of my bill of sale, and then you have to send them 2 of these filled out and signed. Now, I forgot to sign them. Not gonna lie. I waited like 3 weeks and it finally come back in the mail. I was all excited. I'm like, oh yeah, I got my registration, yay! And it was, hey guy, you forgot to sign your application. So, stupid me. I signed it, sent it back. So then basically what you do is you just basically wait. You wait. And you wait some more. All right, so after you're done waiting and you know, you get a little anxious, you can call them. They'll you know, dial the number and press 1 or 5 or whatever the numbers are to get through their automated service, to talk to a person. You can call them, or you can just wait like I did. I just waited, and then eventually they cashed my check. So once they cash your check, you know something's coming. something in the mail is coming. So, yeah, so that day they cashed my check, I was all excited. I was like, all right, I got it right this time. You know, I signed the paperwork. So, let me just back up just 1 second. Now you can, I was gonna show you this on my computer. You can go to their website and you can fill all this out on their website. And for those of you, that is the link. I will put all this information in the description block below. I'll just kind of give you what you need to send in with them, with this. I'll do that. So basically what they do is once they cash your check, then they send you your plate and your registration. Now, what I didn't realize was they send it separately. So they send your plate in an envelope. I'm gonna show you what the envelope looks like. In an envelope that looks just like that, or an envelope that's like that. Now this is for a motorcycle, obviously. So the motorcycle plate, the envelope is going to be smaller. And then there's the plate, right? So that plate comes in this envelope. And in that envelope, they also include this form that you sent in there. So don't just pull your plate out and then throw the envelope away. So they'll include this form and they'll have some writing up here and there'll be check marks and sign off blockages and all that other cool stuff. I would show you what they send back on mine, but I can't exactly black everything out on one, that I need. Because, if I get pulled over, a police officer has to read it. So they send you the plate in this envelope. They send you the exact same form back and you're scratching. I was scratching my head like, why would they just send me that back? They're supposed to send me a registration. And what they do is they send the registration separately with the sticker that goes on the plate. So they'll send you the plate without the sticker. And it clearly states that the piece of paper that they send you is your registration. So if you do happen to get pulled over by the police, you just show them that and, everything's supposed to be good. But I didn't take that chance. So then again, now you have that, but you don't have a sticker, and I was confused because nobody said to me nobody said in their videos that they send the actual registration and the sticker in a different envelope. Nobody in any of the videos that I watched stated that. They're just like, oh yeah, you get it all in the mail and you're good to go. And I was like, okay, well I got that in the mail. Well, what else? Well, I'm waiting on that. Where's this? So I kind of freaked out a little bit, and I called them. And I did the automated service, which is a pain in the buttocks. And when you get through the automated service, one of the things when you're sitting there on hold, it clearly says plate and registration and sticker are sent separately. So I'm sitting there on hold for like 15 minutes. And then the little music in the background kind of stops, and then it says, you can do this online. It's just a message really that they put in there, and their message answered my question. So what did I do? I waited. And I waited. And I kept waiting. So it's not quick. Let's just put that out there. Maybe I should have said that first. If you're in a hurry, this is probably not the process for you. All right, so, like I said, I'm waiting to get the actual registration, because that's what you need to take to your DMV. And I'll show you what this looks like. It's basically one of those little sheets of paper with the perforated edges, and you gotta pull it apart here, and then it's glued here, and you gotta be sure not to rip up your registration. Have a letter opener ready, because it's a little bit, it's a pain. So then you go out to your mailbox, and lo and behold, in your mailbox will be an envelope that looks exactly like this. It says important document, do not destroy, see reverse side for opening instructions, Department of Vermont, Department of Motor Vehicles, Vermont, yada, yada, yada. So that's what it looks like, right? So I'm going to do my best to show you everything in here without giving up my information, which I probably will, but whatever. So when you open the paper up, you see this guy right here. Now I'm covering up my address. That's all that is just your address. So basically what this is your registration card. This is not the important part. This is not the part that says, oh my God, now I'm gonna get a title for my 35, 40-year-old bike that I've never had a title for. What says you're gonna get a title is this on the back. It says, notice of transfer of ownership. So what this is basically like a Vermont saying that we've checked it out. This guy owns the motorcycle and your state should turn this into a title. Now I say should because some people have had issues with turning this into a title. Some states are going to try to just give you a registration. Now, different states, like I've said, I've seen on YouTube. Minnesota apparently was okay with it. Now Missouri, they had a bunch of questions for the guy. So that's one of my dogs. Actually, it's my girlfriend's dog. She's a German Shepherd, and she's really protective of her food bowl that she carries around the house. So if you hear her barking in the background, she's just protecting her food bowl from the other dog. Anyways, so Missouri had questions for the gentleman that did it, but eventually he got his title and everything was all well and good. So you basically have to take this piece of paper. Now I will show you. Maybe. All right, let's do it this way. So the other part that's important on this paper, you can see that I peeled it off, is that little block right there. And what that is that's the sticker that you put on your license plate. Now, as you can see, I haven't mounted the license plate. I contemplated doing it, you know, mounting it, riding around with a Vermont license plate for a little bit because, you know, they're green. It's different. Why not? You know, it's legal. It's totally legal. When you get to this point, this is totally legal. For your state, for Vermont, it's no different than if somebody in Vermont was down here visiting and they're driving around with their vehicle and it's registered in Vermont. This is totally legal. They cannot say anything about it. And I can ask you questions. They can probably give you a hard time, but you have your registration and you have your insurance, and you know, they really can't do anything about it. So my next process, and there will be another video, is when I go to the DMV to turn all this paperwork in to get an actual Georgia title in my name. Now, from videos online, people have not had an issue. I've not ever had an issue with the Georgia DMV. They seem to be pretty nice, believe it or not. You know, the ladies always seem to be very helpful. Maybe it's because I go early in the morning. I think that's the key. You got to go early in the morning before they've had so many a-holes come through and, you know, complain about not being able to get their vehicle registered, or, you know, they got a DUI and they don't have insurance and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, you got to get there early so, you know, they're nice and fresh. You know, they're dude, brown dog. Quick, look, see? Like I said, she's very protective from this guy, you know. Even though he doesn't mess around with her bowl, but she thinks he does, you know. She thinks he's gonna mess around with it. So anyways, yeah, so that's the process. So if you have any questions, just go ahead and put it down in a block. I'll answer them as best as I can. Like I said, you definitely need to check out your own state's regulations, rules, regulations, requirements. Definitely you're gonna have to do some homework. Now this does involve homework, sitting down on a computer or on your phone or at work at break time, whatever, to look up these requirements to make sure that your vehicle or your motorcycle fits. I can't stress that enough, because you really wouldn't want to pay, like I paid $168. I really wouldn't want you to pay $168 to get your vehicle registered through Vermont and then take it to your state, because you're really only after a title. This is really all I'm doing it for, is I'm after a title, because I can register the bike here, and I have. So, hey dog, I swear to God, I don't know what to do with a dog. Anyways, yeah, so make sure you check out your state's your requirements, and yeah, and go from there. Like I said, any questions, put them down in the block. If I haven't put you to sleep already, you know, I'm trying to get you there, you know, count them sheep. Anyways, I think that's gonna do it for this quick little Vermont loophole registration video. Like I said, this video is not for everybody, but if you are into vintage bikes and cars and whatnot, and you have one that doesn't have a title, you can get one. So you know, like you do at the end of all the videos, you know, like, tag, share, follow, subscribe. Go to my my Facebook page. Go to my Facebook page. It's a Facebook group. Do it yourself, do it right. We're putting, you know, pictures and videos of, you know, all your DIY projects, not just cars, not just bikes, you know, anything that you're building or you're making, you're fabricating. And of course, now the dog's going to start barking. If it's not the neighbors interrupting my videos, it's the dog. So yeah, like I was saying, you know, like, tag, share, follow, go to my Facebook page, do it yourself, do it right, put your projects up there. You know, we're having a good time. Anyways, like always, till next time. Thanks a lot.